It's Richard Bingham. We are the technology supplier, which is Tangotherm from South Africa. There's only one thing that I want to talk about, and that is the emissions. It's the emissions that everyone is afraid of. And I'd like to just pick out three. The dioxins and furans are formed during high temperature combustion of a material that contains chlorine compounds. Now, we don't get to those temperatures, so we don't create the dioxins and furans. Secondly, we remove the chlorine as a pre-treatment exercise and recover most of it. And finally, we have a lime alkali gas scrubber upon exit from the pyrolyzer, along with the rest of the gas cleanup system, which I won't go into now. And lastly, we have a regenerative thermal oxidizer, such that in the unlikely event there are any dioxins and furans, at this point they will be destroyed. Anyone that technically knows about dioxins and furans will say, yes, they could reform if the flue gas is not quenched rapidly. And we quench the flue gas in fractions of a second. So dioxins and furans, which are the worst thing that can be carcinogenic and create problems for people, we have 5 mitigating circumstances to obviate them. The next thing is nitrous oxides. We have documented evidence that our nitrous oxides are less than 18 milligrams per cubic meter. We allowed 200, so we're less than 10% of what the world agrees is a reasonable emission. We are combusting the gas in our gas engines. The case study we have with the very low NOx are high efficiency engines, and we have very low NOx. Again, in the unlikely event that that NOx was higher than we wanted, the regenerative thermal oxidizer allows us to input urea, which will bring it down to less than 10% of whatever it is. Final thing that everyone talks about is the CO2. Believe it or not, our plant is in relative terms CO2 negative. And that is because we obviate in the landfill, where the CO2 emissions are higher than our total CO2 emissions if the same material was put in landfill. We also have the negative effect of creating the electrical energy from the facility. So it's landfill avoidance gives us our main offset, which takes us to a negative footprint. Now, I realize that everyone doesn't want the facility. However, it's for the wrong reasons. The other option with the medical waste is to put it in the landfill. In the landfill, we will create methane, which is 20 times worse than CO2.